Yeah, sure. Thanks very much for having me. As you highlighted, 3 U.S. service members killed at a facility in northeast Jordan along the Syria border. The number of injuries has risen to at least 34. 8 of those had to be evacuated outside of Jordan, all of whom are in stable condition at this point in time. There is the potential that the number of injuries could rise as individuals are further diagnosed, for example, from concussive impacts. So we'll continue to keep the public updated on that front. I do obviously want to offer our thoughts and prayers to the families of those who got the most terrible news over the weekend and lost loved ones, as well as those that were injured.
Absolutely. General Ryder, thanks for being with us. It isn't now the case that the American people need to prepare themselves for more deaths, for more wounded American service members at the hands of Iran and Iranian proxies?
Well, as we've said, and will continue to be the case, we will take necessary action to protect our U.S. forces, no matter where they're serving around the world. I'm not going to telegraph or forecast any potential response from the United States because of this attack, other than to say there will be a response, and this kind of action will not be tolerated. You know, U.S. forces are in this region for one reason only, and that is to focus on the lasting defeat of ISIS. And so, again, we will do whatever we need to do to protect our forces going forward. But certainly, at the end of the day, we are not looking to engage in a wider conflict, merely to ensure regional security and stability.
Does the administration think proportional attacks will change the situation in the Middle East?
Well, again, you know, what we're going to do is we will take deliberate, appropriate action. Our focus here is not to broaden a conflict from the very beginning. We've been very focused on ensuring that the situation in Israel does not broaden into a wider regional conflict. Unfortunately, what you have here are Iranian proxy groups that are exploiting the situation and conducting these types of illegal attacks against forces that are in the region to actually preserve peace and stability. So again, we're going to do what we need to do to protect our forces, while also cognizant of the fact that what we don't want is a wider regional conflict.
But would you consider what happened over the weekend, given the fact that in Jordan, this is a facility about terrorism, this is a training facility, we have Americans dead now. Is this now a red line for the administration with Tehran?
Well, look, again, as I highlighted, any attack against U.S. forces is unacceptable, and certainly the loss of 3 of our warriors is something that saddens us all, and we will respond in a time and a manner of our choosing. But again, our focus in the region is not to be there to widen conflict or to create more instability. It's the opposite. So again, we will take necessary action to protect our forces while also working toward that end of regional security and stability.
General, you said that any attack on our troops would be unacceptable. There have been more than 150 attacks on troops in Iraq and Syria since October 17th. How much do you think that what you've done so far, what the administration has done so far, has effectively subdued additional attacks, has sufficiently protected some of these troops?
Well, to your point, there's been over 150 rocket and UAV attacks, and to this point, those air defense systems have worked extremely well in terms of protecting our forces. You know, we're taking a look at this situation here and how this UAS was able to strike this facility and kill and wound U.S. service members. But again, everywhere that we have forces, we're going to take all necessary measures to protect those forces.
Is this an act of war by Iran?
Well, look, it's certainly a horrific act, and it's certainly something that's unacceptable, and we will respond appropriately. But if you take a step back here again, the United States' focus is not to go into these regions to instigate war and escalation. Our focus is to work with regional partners and allies to ensure security and stability. That's why these forces were there. You all remember about 10 years ago when ISIS was 24 kilometers outside of Baghdad. We don't want to go back to those times. And so that's what our focus is. But when our forces are threatened and when they're attacked, we will take appropriate action.
Who conducted these attacks? Can we just start there and really get into the detail of that? General, who were the perpetrators behind these attacks?
Yeah, so what we know right now is we are very confident that these attacks, this particular attack against this facility was by Iranian-backed proxies. We're working through the actual attribution piece right now, but of course it carries the signature of Kataib Hezbollah, which has conducted attacks in the past. But this is something that we continue to look at specifically.
And when you look at this, just for people following this and listening to what's been developing in the Middle East over the last month or so, how big is the difference between those groups and Iran themselves?
Well, for a long time, Iran has used proxy groups around the region to enable itself to have plausible deniability, enable itself to implement policy, and importantly, to essentially try to expel the United States and other countries that are at odds with its own policies and views from the region. And so this is, in a large part, what you are seeing in Iraq and Syria is that these proxies, and to a degree Iran, exploiting the situation, the tensions in the Middle East in an effort to try to expel the United States and the coalition from Iraq and Syria. And again, those forces, particularly in Iraq, are there at the invitation of the government of Iraq to assist in the lasting defeat of ISIS. That is the mission that we're there for, and that's what we continue to remain focused on.
Does Iran have plausible deniability this morning?
Look, we know that these groups are backed by Iran with the support of Iran. They organize, train, and equip these groups, and we will hold them accountable.
You will hold Iran accountable or these groups accountable? And I think, Major General, as you know, this is the issue. Which one is it?
Look, again, I'm not going to telegraph or forecast our response. We know that Iran is behind these groups. We're not seeking conflict with Iran. We don't seek war with Iran. But again, we will take necessary measures to protect our forces, and we will respond in a time and manner of our choosing.
I think we understand that's the position of the government this morning. So, Major General, forgive me for following up on this, but I understand the U.S. doesn't seek war with Iran. Does Iran seek war with the U.S.?
Well, look, I'm not going to speak for Iran. I'm not an Iranian government spokesperson. We know that their actions and their malign activity around the region are certainly contrary to peace and stability. But we will continue to remain focused on our goal, which is regional peace, security, and stability. But again, if our forces are threatened, we will take appropriate action. We will ensure that those forces will be defended.
General, we know that Lloyd Austin is expected to return to the DOD today. Can you just give us an update on his health after he was missing for about a month outside of the Pentagon?
Well, I wouldn't say he was missing. We've known where he's been. But yes, he is expected to return to the Pentagon today, and we'll be working from here. We'll be hosting a bilat with the NATO Secretary General a little bit later this morning, and we're certainly looking forward to him coming back into the Pentagon. As you saw in our statement last week, he continues to recover well. His prognosis is excellent. He does continue to have some physical therapy associated with some lingering leg pains, but he's doing very well.
Besides the NATO Secretary General, what kind of meetings is he expected to have, or potentially has he already had, with Congress to build some sort of bipartisan support, coalesce around an idea of what the policy should be going forward when it comes to this issue that Jonathan's talking about on how to deal with Iran and their proxies?
Well, the Secretary has been actively engaged with multiple leaders to include the White House, with the U.S. Central Command, with the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and, of course, maintains regular contact with Congress on a variety of issues. Look, we all understand the serious nature of what we're dealing with here. Again, working very hard to prevent a wider regional conflict while at the same time ensuring that our forces can operate safely and securely. And so that will continue to be a main focus going forward. The Secretary is, of course, actively engaged on all those matters, as well as other issues around the world, to include Ukraine and the situation in Gaza.